Welcome to another episode of Day1Radio. I'm the world famous BP, Branden Peters. As you can see, my brother Aries Garland is not here with me today, but we're going to still rock out. Appreciate y'all watching on LivehiphopDaily. Appreciate you listening through our partners at CLNS Media, and follow us on social media at Day1Radio. So, man, we've been doing this. It'll be 6 years in October. You are only the third comedian we've ever had on. The other two were phenomenal episodes. First TK Kirkland, and then DJ Turn comedian Cypher Sounds.
Oh, okay.
So we got a real vet in here. One of the most consistent guys in the business, man. Aries Spears, man. Welcome to it. Welcome to the A.
Oh, hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So we can get the business out the way first. You at ATL comedy. What's
Comedy Theater, right?
Comedy Theater, yes.
Yeah.
That's the one that's way out.
Yeah, I think
but it's
Norcross.
Nice. Yeah, but it's like real nice. Like you don't expect it when you walk in. It's like, okay, this is pretty fly. You've been around for a minute. The history of comedy clubs in Atlanta. Sometimes you got hole in the wall.
Right.
They're gonna serve you. Ask for Grey Goose. They serving you Gray Parrot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they kind of take care of you there. Like,
I ride with that.
Yeah, for sure, man. But that's dope. So people will get to see you, man. People watch you for years. You've been on TV forever. You know what I mean? Off and on forever, man. But how do you? We were talking off the air about the spots that you like to rock out at, man. How do you? When's the last time you actually performed here in Atlanta?
Maybe 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
At the same spot.
Yeah. Got you. Okay, yeah. So
No. Uptown.
Oh yeah, that was a while back. Now they moved. They used to be
they're
up
at the
the
new
block.
spot.
Yeah. So they moved. Okay, that's what's up, man. So cool. Atlanta is one of those funny. I feel like every comedian has had their run in Atlanta of having a club or whatever, and then like bouncing out. But you're like one of the first cats who actually went out to LA, like as a young guy.
Yeah, man.
Like you got the cats is 50, 60 or whatever, but that's a different era. But like I guess what they would call the Def Jam era. You were one of the first cats to really go out to LA as a teenager. Like LA is crazy now. LA was even crazier then. Like,
yeah, man. I think I was like 17 or something. Yeah. But yeah, you got to win the game, you got to get off the bench. So I had to get in the game, that's where the game is.
No doubt. So you started really early, man, and we'll get into that in a minute. But the question I wanted to ask that I was thinking about as soon as they approached us about the interview is, people don't really do anything for that long. One thing for that long.
Right.
Has it ever been a point, you started when you were 14, like has there ever been a point where you was like, yo, I'm tired of this shit, like I want to do something, I'm tired of being on stage, I'm tired of telling jokes?
Yeah, 15 minutes ago. Yeah, look, man, I love what I do, and I know I'm blessed to do it, but like anything else, man, I don't care how much you love something. It's a relationship. So, you have some good days mostly. And then, you run up across some days where, kind of need to fall back a little bit. Yeah.
How do you like kind of, I guess I'm sure you've had to find different things several times over your life to keep your passion about this shit.
Right.
Yeah. How do you do that? Or what was the last thing? Last time you was like, yeah, I might just go ahead and buy me a crib in the Caribbean and not do shit for the next 10 years.
I still got some things I feel like I need to accomplish, both within myself for my own satisfaction, and then both, I don't want to make it seem like I'm after material things, but just, who doesn't want to live the best life they can live?
Right.
So, and I want to be comfortable beyond my wildest dreams. So I still got some things I need to scratch off my list that I want to accomplish material-wise and internally before I hang my hat up.
It's interesting that you say, well, I mean, shit, comedians don't retire. Y'all just do other shit. Y'all just, you do TV and you do movies. And some
retire. Some retire. I mean,
Good comedians. Really
well, Eddie Murphy's one of the best, but he's hung that mic up. So,
yeah, but he still do, and he's filthy rich. That's a little different.
I mean, yeah, it's like that boxing saying goes. It's hard to train at 3 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk sheets.
That's real tough.
You know what I mean? So, but Eddie's still iconic.
Sure.
He's still one of the greats.
I'm looking forward to the Jerry Seinfeld, the Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
I want to see what he's gonna say.
Yeah, I'd rather see him back on the microphone personally.
We all would.
I mean,
that's probably not gonna happen.
He keeps flirting with it. But if it does happen, like everybody else, I'll have a ringside seat.
Do you think he'll do it in a big way? Do you think he'll just like sneak in and start working out here?
Eddie's such a star. I don't think he can do anything small.
Gotcha.
Earlier
you said something about working on things within yourself, and this is the first time we've ever met. But every interview I've seen, even on your specials, everything, it really just seems like you don't give a fuck. Like at some point, you was just like, "Yeah, I'm cool. I know I can do this. I know I'm funny, but I'm not really gonna play the game."
I used to have a saying when I talked about trying to get in shape. It's like. It's not rocket science, you eat sensibly, you work out, and you do the right things. And I always used to say, I got Michael Jordan dreams, but Dennis Rodman habits. You know what I mean? It's like, in a perfect world, if there's such a thing, I would love to be that guy. I would love to be MJ at Madison Avenue, right. Kevin Hart, bop. He's, that's as big as it gets. But I'm more cut like Charles Barkley. You know what I mean? Truthfully, I could sit here with you right now and have this interview, and we could fake it, and maybe I should give a fuck more, maybe to make a difference. And it's not that I don't give a fuck. I just, there's nothing interesting to me in watching someone have an interview and say the same formulaic bullshit that you always hear. I mean, especially when you know that they know, like we all know, what the truth is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And one of the comedians who I admire the most, God rest his soul, who I think is one of the greatest comedians to ever touch a microphone next to Dave Chappelle, was Patrice O'Neal.
Oh, 1,000%.
And Patrice's thing was always about truth. You can't ever lose with truth.
Yeah.
And that might be based on how you perceive that. If you look at it from his perspective, he's right, but if you look at it from the perspective of comedically Dave Chappelle, when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes, truth can go wrong.
Yeah.
Not that you want it to, or not that it should, but, people are soft, man.
Right.
People
right.
are soft.
You definitely right about that.
And emotions get touched. So,
For sure, most definitely. I mean, for you, like I said, going to LA at a very early age, I know you always talk about how TV was your thing as a kid.
Yeah.
Like you were into it heavily. That's kind of where a lot of the impressions came from and all of that stuff. And you had a lot of development deals early on in life and putting that holding pattern over and over and over again. Did that kind of kill the love for TV, or would you like to do something but on your own terms in TV?
No, not at all. You just nailed it, on your own terms. It's great when you got creative control, man, and no one can put their hand in the pot and tell you what you should do because they think it's funny or don't think it's funny, and they don't know a damn thing about comedy. When you got that kind of creative control where you can flex your muscles and be who you are as an artist, there's nothing more gratifying than that. I mean, nothing kills your spirit more than knowing what you want to do instinctively and being shut down.
Yeah.
It takes the wind out of your sails. It makes you say, well, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And it's so, this game is so politic heavy. And I know, I know the phrase is show business, and the business part comes before the show. At least that's how it's set on paper. But without the show, where's the business? So I don't know that one is more dominant than the other, but sometimes I think we get so caught up in the business aspect of things that it kills the creative spirit.
Yeah.
And I think that if the creative spirit can be left alone to do what it does, especially when it's good, everything else takes care of itself in terms of the business.
Why is that so rare in this business that
because you
happens?
got people running it that don't know the game. And when I say the game, I'm talking about they don't really give a fuck about the creative aspect of it. Their bottom line is the dollar.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bottom line. So they almost put the business part above the show so much that they don't understand. The two kind of go hand in hand. I don't know that one is more dominant than the other. You know, maybe I'm wrong. That don't make sense to me.
There was an article in the New York Times recently talking about how everybody thought in the 90s that when Matty Rich and all those guys were coming out making films, black films, directed, black cast, black stories, that it was going to change the game, and it didn't. They got blackballed, they got pigeonholed. Now they're saying that in the article, Ava DuVernay, the other people they interviewed, was saying that they feel like now that it's actual people who know the game to an extent, and it's actual people who look like us and have similar backgrounds that are in on the business side as well.
Right.
The things they feel like this round of, you know, black directors, actors, or whatever being put on Front Street, that it'll be different, that it'll actually do something. In comedy, are there not funny people, like people who came from the stage that actually are in powerful positions to push buttons?
Yeah, there are, but I don't think they're pushing the buttons as much as they should. Okay. You know, like, you know, it reminds me of that scene in American Gangster when Denzel is in Vietnam and he's talking to his, I think his cousin, and he's trying to say to him, you know, I want to go to the source. You know, I don't want no middleman. Right. I want to go straight to the source. And I just kind of don't understand why once black people in this business achieve a certain amount of stature and success, we get complacent. Like, you know, whoever is the people that put the movies in the movie houses, why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we finding out how to make it so, yeah, like Tyler Perry, we have our own studios, right? You know, our own networks, and we go straight to the source, you know, figure out how to do what the big companies are already doing and figure out how to get our movies placed in theaters all across the country, and cut out the middleman. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. You know, Will Smith is one of the biggest actors on the planet. And, you know, I could be wrong again, but from what I think I know, you know, the one show he produced, All of Us, with his best friend, Dwayne Martin, and who was the girl, Lisa Ray. Yeah. He produced that one thing, and obviously it came and it went. Why hasn't he produced 20 things? Right. You know what I mean? Eddie Murphy, you know, Paramount, I think at one point he made Paramount Pictures $2 billion in revenue, and he has a production company. Where are the 6 TV shows on TV produced by Eddie Murphy? Yeah. You know, it's like, I know these funny comics, man, guys who aren't necessarily large, but were funny as hell. Alex Thomas, my man before he kind of stopped doing comedy, Daryl Heath, Chris Spencer. Yeah. It's 3 of the funniest niggas I've ever met. Right. They know Eddie Murphy very well. And they would always call me up and go, hey man, you know, because Eddie's a big fight fan. Yo, we going to Eddie's house to watch the fight. You can go to Eddie's house. And I go, y'all niggas go over there every time and y'all play court jester to Eddie Murphy and make this nigga laugh. Because he knows how funny you are. At no point don't y'all feel compelled to go, Eddie, let's put this shit on TV. Can we, nigga, can you, with your power and influence, produce a show for us? Yeah. A movie. Yeah. And whether they ask him or Eddie offers, it should be done. Yeah. And I can't go over it. And I'm an Eddie Murphy fanatic. Eddie was my main inspiration so much. Yeah, I heard you talk about Delirious a lot. Yeah, and when you look at my appearance on Def Jam when I was 16, I had on leather gloves and an all denim outfit. The only reason why I didn't have on a leather outfit was because it had been too fucking obvious. Right. And put a ring on my pinky. Yeah. But I was doing raw. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I love Eddie. And yeah, I would love to go over his house. And yeah, I would love him to recognize me as a talented guy. But I'm not playing court jester for nothing. Right. You know what I mean? Make this nigga laugh. All right, well, see you next fight. Right. Like, what are you doing it for? I just don't get, like again, man, throughout history and throughout show business, white boys have always looked out for white boys. That's right. And I've said this, Nick Swanson and David Spade and Rob Schneider has been kept alive because of Adam Sandler. Yeah. Where are the black entertainers that do that for each other? I mean, I feel like to a lesser extent, like Jamie Foxx does that with his guys, with Speedy and Johnny Mac. Like, I know Speedy. I know Speedy. Have you seen Speedy in anything?
writing credits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
They eating, but not eating.
Okay. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? They're not
Yeah.
in the focal point, but that's the only example I can think of.
And
the top
if
of
there's
my head
people out there,
somebody,
and I know that, you know, the comments.
that's cool.
But why aren't you doing it? I'm not in position to do that.
Right.
I'm really not in position to do that.
So 2 questions piggybacking off of that. The first one is, do you feel like, because you know far more than I do about that world, do you feel like it's because they can't or because they're scared to?
Which ones?
As the people that appear to be in position to do big things, to produce stuff, to tell our stories, do they not do it because the white boy?
That's a great question, because if I go off assumption, my first thing to say would be, how could they not? So when you say can't, mm-hmm. I don't believe that Eddie Murphy can't not do anything.
Gotcha.
And what would be the fear? That those dudes who shine so big they affect his career? Eddie's an icon. He's established. He ain't going nowhere.
On the outside looking in, I would think the fear would be, I've done all of these things, and then them checks that fund what I'm doing are going to stop coming. Because those aren't the stories that Hollywood wants to tell. Those aren't the people that Hollywood wants to position.
If we're talking about show business,
the
business is about making money. So why would they want the train to stop?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So
it
doesn't make sense to me. It's a head scratcher.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you.
You know, David Geffen, Steven Spielberg, and what's the other white boy? The 3 that formed DreamWorks. Mm-hmm. David Geffen, Steven Spielberg, and there's one more. I can't. You know what, Andy? His name escapes me. But anyway, they got together and they formed DreamWorks.
Right.
Where's Oprah, Michael Jordan, Eddie Murphy forming? Where is that?
I think the closest thing, and I'm sure you know this guy, and I want your opinion on him.
Was it Katzenberg?
Andy Katzenberg, yeah. What's your take on Byron Allen and the things he is doing in business?
It's hat tip, man. It's a hat tip. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers bought the Weather Channel, right? Yeah. The hat tip. It's like, you know, every girl wants to fuck the NBA player because it's obvious. But the richest nigga in the game is the nigga who invented the toaster. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see Byron Allen coming.
Nah.
You know what I mean? That wasn't an obvious catch.
Yeah.
You know, so hat tip, man.
For sure. All right. I want to take it back a little bit, and this is kind of a personal question because I remember watching Uptown Comedy Club on TV. I think it was on UPN back in the day when they had a TV show. How in the world did you get on that stage at 14 years? Like, how? Like, how did that happen? Because I've heard you say it before, but I've never heard you tell the story of how that shit even happened.
You know, I had went with my mother and my sister to the Improv.
Your mother was a singer, right?
She still is, jazz blues singer.
Dope.
We were in New York and we went to the Improv, and back then to try to get on stage you had to draw numbers out of a hat. Mm-hmm. So all 3 of us put numbers in the hat, none of us got called. And then of course I was deflated, but somebody suggests go up to Harlem and go to Uptown. So that same day we caught the train up to Harlem, and I got on stage and got my feet wet for the first time, and it was official. After then the bug bit me and it was official.
That's crazy. So at what point did you know, like, all right, at what point did you know this is what you wanted to do, and what point did you know that you could do it, like, for real?
That same night.
Really?
Yeah. I wanted to prior to that, but doing it actually solidified it for me.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's really dope. So at a young, like, you got Mad TV finally when you got on TV after all development deals at what, like 21, 22?
Yeah, 22.
If you could go right now with all the shit you know now, what would you tell your 22-year-old self?
Man, don't know when to shut the fuck up. Know when to, you know, Hollywood is a minefield, man. And you got to navigate yourself a certain way so you don't blow up until you blow up. Because once you blow up, you can still fuck yourself up, but it's different then.
Yeah.
Because you're the money train.
Gotcha.
And once you're the money train, people will tolerate more shit.
Yeah.
But it's hard to invest in a loudmouth and an opinionated motherfucker if, you know, you're not bringing in the bucks.
I mean, but shit, you was on that joint for what, 8 years? You was bringing in something.
Yeah, listen, in the Hollywood game, that was small potatoes, man. You know, a weekly check from a show that comes on Saturday nights at 11 versus prime time hours Monday through Friday. That's a different. Listen, my first TV show actually was a show called South to Sunset. It was an action hour drama for CBS. We did one episode. We shot 13, but they aired one episode and they canceled the whole series. I was making $40,000 a week on that show.
Right.
And you know,
wasn't it was a singer on that show, wasn't it? Like
Glenn Fry from the Eagles.
That's
rest in peace. Yeah. And that's even small money because that was before the show. If the show had become a hit, now it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That 40 becomes 4 times that. So, yeah.
So with the Mad TV thing, and you even did the show with Damon Wayans later, man, with the sketch comedy situation, like you're a pro, like performing it, writing it, the whole nine.
Right.
But now I feel like we don't. I mean, of course, there's still sketch comedy stuff on.
Yeah.
But we don't really have like them shows that like, yo, did you see that sketch on whatever? Like,
well, Chappelle was the last of that.
That was 15 years ago.
Was it that long? Has it been that long?
Yeah. Chappelle been off since like 05 or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why do you think that is? Because you a vet of this whole game. So why do you think that we don't really have that big sketch show that Living Color?
Well, I don't think everybody can do it. Okay. Sketch is, I think, one of the hardest art forms there is, because you look at these guys who, and I don't want to slight these guys, but I'm just saying, you look at some of these network television comedies, and it's like, look, all jokes is set up punchline. That's the formula, but I call it the
got you.
Ba-dum boom.
Yeah.
And some of them jokes is so like word. Whereas with sketch comedy, dog, you putting on prosthetics, sitting in a makeup chair for 3 hours to do a character.
Yeah.
A character that you thought of, that you came up with, that has a personality, a niche, certain sayings. You know how much harder that is to do than to read a line and go, set up, boom, da-da-da, punchline. And that's the comedy. Now, some of those comedies are extremely well written, and some of them, especially I think in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, look, All in the Family, The Jeffersons, those to me were more cutting edge. Those were more risque. So I tip my hat to that more than a lot of what's out today, which is just so and corny. Sketch, to do an impression, that's a gift. That's hard, man. To come up with and write a sketch that's balls to the wall, funny, that's not predictable. A lot of the TV shows are so predictable. Yeah. It's just, you can see what's about to happen with your eyes closed. So sketch is not easy, and not everybody does it. Not everybody can do it well.
Gotcha.
You know.
Well, I mean, obviously you do it well. We've seen it for years. Why have you not started your own situation, especially now with so many different outlets? I heard you say some years ago that you were working on a pilot and you were self-financing the pilot and whatnot. But either money is obviously super expensive.
Well, here's what you learn as you go along.
Okay.
That I didn't know. Well, like if I could have done it over, I would have made different creative choices. Like I shot my own pilot, and I had a pilot presentation where I put together basically a reel of 4 or 5 of the sketches. Okay. One of the first sketches I opened up with was a spoof on State Farm commercials. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And the setup was a brother was going through a nice neighborhood in his car, and the police pull him over. Long story short, they about to kill this nigga. Like they like fucking with him like the cops do us. Yeah. So the nigga's panicking, and he goes, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And a Black Panther appears, and we both shoot the cops up.
So essentially, you scared the shit out of people you was presenting it to.
Nick, that's not how you open a sketch show in a white room full of executives. 2 niggas is shooting cops.
Right. Yeah.
That's you tuck that one away in episode 40.
Yeah.
Once the show's a hit.
Yeah.
And the network ain't breathing down your neck as much because now you're a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And you don't put that front and center.
That's right.
So, you know, plus, like I've said in a lot of interviews, man, I'm going to have to finagle my way into this game through the crack. I'm not going to come in through the front door. I'm not going to come in through the back. I'm not going to come in through the side. I'm going to literally have to be a rose out the concrete because Comedy Central has turned me down. Netflix has turned me down. So they cool on me, man, you know? So, but that's not to say I can't get there. I'm just going to have to be a rose in the concrete.
That's what I was going to ask you. I would think, once again, on the outside looking in with Netflix, Hulu, all these online video on-demand situations, it would seem that there would be tons of more opportunities to get stuff in front of the public eye. Is that the case, or is it still the same gatekeepers?
Oh, it's always going to be the same gatekeepers.
Okay.
But the one advantage you have with social media and the internet now is, you know, you can create something that once it hits, everything changes. Yeah. You know, I always tell people the one thing about this business that's insane to me is that no matter how down you are always one hit away. Whether it's a commercial, a movie, a TV show, a viral video, you're always one hit away. And if it's big enough and it makes enough noise, everything changes.
Yeah, that's super real. Switching gears a little bit, man. Some of the impressions that people love about you is when you do rappers. So this is I'm not going to ask you to do impressions. I told you it's not going to be the same interview you've been doing all day. But what a lot of people don't know is you actually write the raps. Like, you're not just doing something, a B-side on somebody saying that everybody ain't familiar with. Have you ever considered writing your own album and putting out an album?
I've always considered it, but I just know I don't know that I would have the patience because look, that's why you gotta tip your hat to people who are masters at what they do. Yeah. Because the really good ones, it comes off effortlessly. I can't even say that shit. Effortlessly, however the fuck. Right. It comes off easy, damn it. And it seems like there's not a lot of work put in. It just flows, man. And I'm not good enough at it to where I could just flow. I'd have to smoke a lot of weed, rip up a lot of notebook paper, and I would have to go through too much to produce something I think worthy enough to be deemed hot or acceptable. I'm good for maybe a couple 16 bars. I'm good for maybe a song or two, man, but an album? Nah, bro.
You should drop a song or two, man. Do some features. Why not?
Man, I just, again, when you look at the best lyricists, the best to ever do it, Eminem, Jadakiss, Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, Big Pun, Big L, lyricists, man, Mos Def. That's a different breed of skill, man.
Oh, for sure. It's a gift.
It's a gift, and I don't think that I'm gifted in that way. I got a little bit of trinket. I got some moments, but I'm not a no.
Got you. How do you, especially, and this goes into rap and comedy, how you feel about performers? Let's put it like that, who have a ton of writers.
You talking about rap
and in comedy? Is it fair?
It might not be, but at the end of the day, no one really cares. And if nobody cares, then what are you going to do? Let's roll in a rock uphill. Do
they not care because they don't know?
I think even when they know, they don't care. I gotta allude back to my man, God rest his soul, Patrice O'Neal. One of the things he said on Opie and Anthony that you find out is very true, and it kind of, this is what I mean when I say it takes the wind out of your sails. There's no righteousness in this game. We all know life ain't fair, but sometimes it seems like life goes out of its way to be fucked up. And there's no justice, there's no righteousness, and you're sitting back thinking from some sort of karma, it should be this way. It's gonna all work out. Sometimes it just fucking doesn't. It just don't. And, you know, people don't care, man. They, you know, so if you're looking for justice, if you're looking for gratification from something being right, good luck. Don't waste your energy.
So
waste your spirit.
What's the motivation to keep going then?
It's got to be for you personally. Well, whatever defines your happiness.
Gotcha.
If you know, despite all that, if you can find something to go, hey, I still believe in this, so therefore I'm gonna stand this ground. Therefore I'm gonna move this way. Then there you go.
When you get on stage, do you get that? Like, if it's a fucked up day, and you walk out and it's packed, and people waiting on it, does it give you that?
Listen, man, I always say, this shit varies week to week.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to a city and I feel like I'm king of the world based on the attendance and the love. Other times I go places and I go, oh shit, I ain't shit. You know, so you know, it all changes from moment to moment.
Gotcha. I feel that 100%. What other than obviously the sketch comedy thing, man? Like, what do you at this stage? Because it's obviously different from your 20s. Like, what do you want out of this game?
I don't know. I want to be able to. I want to be able to get out of it with some respect. And yeah, like you said, maybe get a crib somewhere where it's hard to find. Yeah. You know.
You don't think you got respect?
No, I do, but I mean, like, you know, that's a to be continued, man.
Okay, for sure.
Because that for me is changing from moment to moment too.
All right, for sure. Last question, man. We've seen a ton of comedians do impressions over the years. Caliendo, Jay Farrow, yada yada yada. How have you been able to not get pigeonholed as an impression comedian?
Because if you've ever seen my stand-up, you know that's not all I do.
Yeah.
I've never been a one-trick pony. And doing impressions for me, I've said this before, it's like if I was in an NBA, it's like dunking a basketball. That's easy. But can you rebound? Can you pass? How's your defense? How's your basketball IQ? Can you run the floor? You know? So to have a complete game, you know, can I improvise? Can I do crowd work? Can I get political? Can I tell stories? Can I do edgy humor? Can I go blue? Can I be smart? You know, on top of the impression of dunking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never been. That's why it's funny to me when cats say that. It's almost like the internet trolls are hilarious. They're like bitter girlfriends when they break up with their men. Like, little dick nigga, but you was with me for 8 years. You can't fuck, but we was together a decade. So, like, you know, all you do is impressions. That's what they say because they mad or because I pissed them off. Like, if you've ever seen my work, nigga, I've never just been an impressionist.
Right.
I'm so much deeper than that.
For sure, most definitely, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. This was dope, man.
All love,
you
man.
Enjoyed yourself, man.
I did, man. It's nice to do these laid back joints every now and then.
Yeah.
Get away from all the.
We gotta talk like human beings.
Yeah, man. It's like so many times you go do a radio interview and it's automatically jazz hands.
Yeah.
You know, they want you to they want you to be on, and sometimes it's nice to just sit back and be casual with it, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a conversation, man. It's not an interview, man. Once again, tell people where they can find you, man. Find your work and whatnot.
Oh goodness, Instagram Aries Spears, Patreon. You can subscribe there for comedy content. The podcast Spears and Steinberg, aka.
Yeah, how did that? Cause y'all are wild. How the fuck did that shit come about?
We just we worked together on the road, and he came to me and said, "Let's do one." I said, "Fuck it, let's go," and here we are.
Yeah, dude, I was listening back to something. I was like, because y'all start off, I'm like, are these motherfuckers about to fight? Or is that like, the shit is funny, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
And that's the cool thing, man. It ain't about show, you know, being just for show. You know, those emotions are real and they're raw. And we try to be as honest and open as we can.
No doubt.
Because, you know, the entertainment game is so oversaturated with hokey shit, bullshit, formulaic shit. So we try to give you something. We like Blue Magic, like Pepsi. That's a brand name, and they know that even if they don't know me no more than the owner of General Mills.
See,
we give them the raw, uncut, unfiltered.
For sure.
And that's available through iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify, and all that shit, man. Cameo, celebrity shout outs, hit me up on Cameo. Go to my website, ariesspears.com.
For sure. Appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all listening, man. Day1Radio. We'll see you next week with another dope show. Peace.